Hello dear friends, welcome back to my channel. We are going to continue the next part of this topic that's can just consider as the blood corpuscles. It is also says as a form element. It is also says as a blood cell. In that the first blood cell we see, it's a RBCs. It also says as a red blood cell or the erythrocyte. So let's see the characteristic features of these red blood cell. The form element, or it says as a blood corpuscles, it is also says as a blood cell. The blood corpuscles that produced in the body are collectively called as a form element, and they are suspended in the plasma. There are the three types of the blood corpuscles. First one, it's a erythrocyte, also named as a red blood cell. RBC cells is called. Second one is a leukocytes, that's a white blood cell, it called as the WBCs, and the platelet cells, it is called as the thrombocytes. So in this video we see the first phenomena, that is the erythrocyte. So this image, it indicates the RBC cell, that is says as the erythrocyte, means a red blood cell. So first of all we see the shape, nature, various characteristics of the RBC cell. The shape of the RBC cell, it's a somewhat circular, biconcave, disc shape with the thick edges. It's a non-nucleated, but in case of the camel and the llamas, the nucleus is present. But the newly formed RBC cell, it contains a nucleus. But when this RBC cell it goes matured, the nucleus will be disappeared. The size of the RBC cell, it is a 7 μm in diameter and the 2.5 μm in thickness. The total count of RBC cell in case of male, it is a 5.1 to 5.8 millions per cubic mm. In case of female, it is a 4.3 to 5.2 millions per cubic mm. The lifespan period of RBC cell, it's a 120 days. The process of formation of RBC cell, it says as a erythropoiesis. That is this process, the process of the formation of this RBC cell, it says as a erythropoiesis. The next one, it's a erythropoietic cell, that is the hemocytoblast and the reticulocytes. This RBC cell, it is formed if it is a fetus in the fetus body. It's a form in the liver and the spleen region, but in case of adult person, it is formed in the bone marrow tissue, that's a red bone marrow tissue. Next, the vitamin cyanophylamine, that is the vitamin B12, folic acid and the hemiprotein. It's a required for the production of the RBC cell. So this is asked for the 1 marks question. The next one is a erythropoietin hormone. So what is that erythropoietin? That is, it is produced by the kidney cell. It stimulates the bone marrow for the production of the RBC cell. This name is also asked for the MCQ. Erythropoietin hormone, which is produced by the kidney cell, it stimulates the bone marrow tissue for the production of the RBC cell. Then after completing the lifespan period, the RBC cell, means after the 120 days, the RBC cell is dead. That is, the destruction of the RBC cell, it is takes place in the liver and the spleen. When the number of the RBC cell, it is increased than that of the normal level, then it is named as the polycythemia. It's named as the polycythemia. If the number of RBC cell it decreases, it's named as the erythrocytopenia. The nature of mature RBC cell, it is devoid of the nucleus, mitochondria and the other membrane bound cell organelles. As it's a cytoplasm, the cytoplasm, it's also called as the stroma. It's a rich in hemoglobin as well as it's a rich in oxygen carrying proteinaceous pigment, which provides a red color to the blood. Means due to the presence of the protein pigment, due to the presence of the hemoglobin, that is a respiratory pigment, and the oxygen, it's a proteinaceous. Both these, due to the presence of these, there is a color of the blood, it's a red in color. It is also contain an enzyme that is called as a carbonic anhydrase. The next one we see, that is a hemocrite. The hemocrite is the ratio of RBC cell of the total blood volume. And the hemoglobin, what's a hemoglobin? The hemoglobin, the cytoplasm of RBCs, it contains the hemoglobin. The hemoglobin, it is a respiratory pigment. It helps in the transport of oxygen and the carbon dioxide. The normal hemoglobin contained in case of male, it is 14 to 17 gram per 100 ml of blood, or the percent 14 to 17% of the blood. In case of female, it is 13 to 15 gram per 100 ml. If there is a deficiency of oxygen, the deficiency disorder in which the hemoglobin level in the blood, it goes on decreasing, and the normal RBC cell, it is change its shape it into the sickle shape, that is the half moon shape. So it is called as the sickle cell anemia. So the next one we see the composition of the hemoglobin. So what's the hemoglobin? This hemoglobin, it is a protein iron complex. It's a conjugated form of protein. There is a three type of protein, is a simple protein, derived protein, and the conjugated protein. That is, these are the conjugated protein. It's a made up of the 4 polypeptide chain. That is the 2 alpha and the 2 beta chain. An iron profiling, that is it is group is attached to each chain, and the 4 chain are bound together. Each heme group can carry 1 oxygen molecule. Thus the 1 hemoglobin molecule can carry the 4 oxygen, forming the oxyhemoglobin. And if the hemoglobin, that is a carbon dioxide, interact with the amino acid residue of the globulin, then there is a formation of the carboamino hemoglobin. After the hemolysis, means after the breaking down of the hemoglobin, the hemoglobulin, it is broken down. Its a globulin part is separated and the hema part is separated. It's separated. That is, the globulin part, it's broken to recycle the amino acid. The iron of the heme group, it's stored as the ferritin in liver, and the porphyrin group of the heme, it is converted it into green pigment. That is, says this green pigment, it says as the bilirubin, and the red orange pigment, it says as the green pigment, it says as the biliverdin, and the red pigment, it says as the bilirubin. This pigment, it's mainly are added to the bile, and finally it is removed out of the body with the blood. It is removed out the body. Afterward, that the next phenomena we see, that's the functions. It's a first function, it's a transport of oxygen from the lungs to the tissue, transport of carbon dioxide from tissue to the lungs. Hemoglobin acts as a buffer and maintains the blood pH, and it maintains the viscosity of the blood. Hope so you understood it. Thanks for watching my video. Stay tuned to my channel.